Right, listen up you lot. Today, we're not just talking about any old rifle. We're about to step into the boots of soldiers from a different era. A time when warfare was raw, unforgiving, and every piece of equipment had to earn its place on the battlefield. Forget your fancy modern rifles with all their complicated bits and bobs, laser sights, polymer stocks, and rails for every gadget under the sun. Those are the tools of today, but we're here to talk about a weapon that shaped history long before such luxuries existed. We're going back in time. Picture a rifle so tough, so reliable, that it became the backbone of armies for over a century. This wasn't just a tool, it was a lifeline, a companion in the mud, snow, and chaos of war. The Mosin Nagant is a rifle that has seen more history than most museums. A rifle that armed everyone from Tsarist soldiers marching under the double-headed eagle, to Finnish snipers blending into the winter forests, to Vietnamese revolutionaries fighting for their homeland. Its wooden stock and steel barrel have crossed continents and decades, finding their way into the hands of those who needed them most. Even today, the Mosin Nagant is more than just a relic. It's a prized possession for collectors, a piece of living history for enthusiasts, and a symbol of resilience for anyone who appreciates the stories behind the steel and wood. This, my friends, is the story of the Mosin Nagant, a story of innovation, endurance, and the relentless march of history. It's a tale that begins in the late 19th century and echoes through the trenches, forests, and battlefields of the 20th. Now some of you might be thinking, a rifle from the 1890s must be as useful as a chocolate fireguard. But let me stop you right there. You'd be wrong. Dead wrong. The Mosin Nagant was a game changer. It was a rifle that could be trusted in the worst conditions imaginable, and it delivered when it mattered most. Its reputation for accuracy and reliability made it a favorite among sharpshooters and infantry alike. It was rugged, reliable, and could handle anything you threw at it. Whether it was caked in mud, frozen in snow, or battered by rain, the Mosin Nagant kept firing. Soldiers depended on it, knowing it would work when everything else failed. Imagine being in a freezing trench, your breath turning to mist, your hands numb. The Mosin Nagant was built for these moments, simple, sturdy, and utterly dependable. It was a rifle that didn't care about the weather or the mud. It just kept going. Mud, snow, even the occasional charging Cossack, this rifle had seen it all. From the thunder of cavalry charges to the grinding misery of trench warfare, the Mosin Nagant was always there, a silent witness to the chaos of battle. It's a testament to its simple, effective design. No unnecessary frills, just solid engineering that could be trusted by millions. The bolt action was smooth, the parts easy to maintain, and the whole package built to last. The Mosin Nagant was the product of careful craftsmanship and relentless testing. It was designed to be mass-produced, yet each rifle carried the mark of the hands that built it. This was a weapon made for the people, by the people. The Mosin Nagant wasn't about being flashy or fancy. It was about getting the job done, no matter the odds. It was a rifle that could be trusted in the hands of a raw recruit or a seasoned veteran. And get the job done it did, in some of the most brutal conflicts in human history. From the muddy fields of World War I to the frozen forests of the Winter War and the desperate street fighting of Stalingrad, the Mosin Nagant was always in the thick of it. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the world of the Mosin Nagant. This isn't just a story about a rifle. It's a story about the people who carried it, the battles it fought, and the legacy it left behind. We'll explore its origins, its inner workings, and its enduring legacy. We'll see how it was designed, how it was built, and why it became one of the most iconic rifles in history. By the end, you'll understand why this rifle, despite its age, remains a legend in the world of firearms. The Mosin Nagant is more than just a weapon. It's a piece of history, a symbol of endurance, and a testament to the spirit of those who carried it. Picture the scene. It's the late 19th century, and the Russian Empire is lagging behind. The world is changing fast, and the thunder of progress echoes across Europe. In the grand capitals of the West, armies are modernizing at a breakneck pace, their soldiers drilling with the latest technology. But in Russia, the mood is different. The empire, vast and powerful on paper, is weighed down by tradition and bureaucracy. Its military, once the pride of the Tsars, is starting to look like a relic from a bygone era. Their rivals are arming up with newfangled repeating rifles, leaving the Tsar's army with their outdated single-shot weapons. Imagine the frustration of Russian officers, watching as their men struggle to keep up with the firepower of their European counterparts. Every shot counts, And in the heat of battle, the difference between victory and defeat can come down to how quickly a soldier can reload. Something had to be done. The pressure was mounting, not just from foreign threats, but from within. The Russian military knew it couldn't afford to fall further behind. The fate of the empire and the lives of its soldiers depended on finding a solution. Enter Sergei Ivanovich Mosin, a Russian army captain with a knack for firearms design. Mosin was no ordinary officer. He was a man obsessed with detail, a tinkerer at heart, and someone who understood that the right weapon could change the course of history. Mosin wasn't messing about. He knew what he wanted, a rifle that was simple, robust, and could pump out lead with reasonable accuracy. He spent countless hours in workshops, poring over blueprints and prototypes, determined to create a weapon that would stand the test of time and the rigors of war. He came up with a design that was both innovative and practical, incorporating a clever bolt-action system that was both strong and easy to use. The bolt-action mechanism was a leap forward, allowing soldiers to fire, reload, and fire again with unprecedented speed. It was a design that promised to level the playing field. But there was a slight snag. The Russian military, ever cautious, wasn't ready to put all its eggs in one basket. Another chap, a Belgian designer named Leon Nagant, also had a design on the table. Nagant was a respected firearms expert in his own right, and his ideas had caught the attention of Russian officials. The stage was set for a showdown between two brilliant minds, each convinced that his rifle was the answer to Russia's prayers. Now, the Tsar wasn't about to have a design-off like some sort of Victorian bake-off. The stakes were too high, and the empire needed results, not rivalries. So, the decision-makers did what any self-respecting empire would do. They looked for a compromise, a way to blend the best features of both designs into a single superior weapon. They pinched the best bits from both designs and cobbled them together. Mosin's sturdy receiver and reliable feeding system met Nagant's ingenious clip-loading mechanism. It was a marriage of Russian practicality and Belgian innovation, a true international collaboration born out of necessity. The result? The Mosin Nagant model 1891 was born. It was more than just a new rifle. It was a symbol of a new era for the Russian military, a weapon that promised to restore the empire's place among the great powers of Europe. It was a rifle for a new era, and it was about to make its mark on the world. The Mosin Nagant was rugged, reliable, and easy to produce in massive numbers. Exactly what Russia needed as it prepared to face the challenges of the 20th century. This wasn't just some cobbled-together compromise, though. The Mosin Nagant was a stroke of genius. Its design was simple enough for mass production, yet sophisticated enough to perform in the harshest conditions. Whether in the mud of the trenches or the snows of Siberia, the Mosin Nagant could be counted on to deliver. It combined Mosin's robust receiver and reliable feeding system with Nagant's ingenious clip-loading mechanism. This meant soldiers could reload quickly, even under fire, and keep up a steady rate of fire that was the envy of their adversaries. The result was a rifle that was both durable and easy to use, even for conscripts with minimal training. The Mosin Nagant was designed to be handled by the masses, not just elite marksmen. Its straightforward operation meant that a peasant conscript, fresh from the fields, could be turned into a competent rifleman in a matter of days. Little did they know this rifle would become a symbol of Russia itself. It would be carried by millions, its silhouette etched into the memory of a nation. The Mosin Nagant was more than just a tool of war. It was a badge of identity, a link between generations of Russian soldiers. It would arm generations of soldiers from the battlefields of Manchuria to the forests of Finland to the ruins of Stalingrad. Wherever Russian troops marched, the Mosin Nagant was there, reliable, unyielding, and ever-present. It became a silent witness to the triumphs and tragedies of Russian history, a constant companion through revolution, civil war, and world conflict. The Mosin Nagant was more than just a rifle. It was a testament to Russian ingenuity and resilience. It stood as proof that, even in the face of adversity and uncertainty, the Russian spirit could adapt, innovate, and endure. The birth of the Mosin Nagant was not just the creation of a weapon, it was the forging of a legend that would echo through the ages, shaping the destiny of a nation and the course of world history. Now, some of you might be expecting a complicated explanation of the Mosin Nagant's inner workings. Maybe you're bracing yourself for a deep dive into a labyrinth of springs, levers, and mysterious widgets, the kind of thing that would make even a seasoned gunsmith scratch their head. But let me put your mind at ease right from the start. You see, with a lot of modern rifles, you'll hear talk about gas-operated systems, short-stroke pistons, rotating bolts, and all sorts of high-tech wizardry. These are the sorts of mechanisms that keep engineers up at night, tweaking and perfecting for that extra edge in performance. But that's not the Mosin style. This rifle is about as straightforward as a kick in the trousers. It's the kind of gun that doesn't try to impress you with fancy features or unnecessary complexity. Instead, it wins you over with its brutal honesty and no-nonsense approach. At its heart is the bolt-action mechanism. This is the beating heart of the Mosin Nagant, the part that makes it tick. And it's a design that's been trusted for well over a century. Think of it like a big metal lever that you pull up, pull back, push forward, and push down. Each movement is deliberate and mechanical, almost like working the gears of an old steam engine. With every cycle, you're not just chambering a fresh cartridge and ejecting the spent one, you're also cocking the firing pin, setting the stage for the next shot. It's a process that's almost meditative in its simplicity. Simple, right? Even a baboon could learn it, and that's part of the Mosin's enduring charm. Then there's the magazine. Unlike many rifles that rely on detachable box magazines, the Mosin Nagant keeps things old school with an internal magazine. Instead of fiddling about with detachable box magazines, the Mosin Nagant uses an internal magazine loaded with a 5-round stripper clip. This means you don't have to worry about losing your magazine in the mud or snow. Everything you need is built right into the rifle. You just slam the clip down into the receiver, the rounds pop into the magazine, and you're ready to rock. It's a system designed for speed and efficiency, especially when you're under pressure and every second counts. It's faster than a cheetah on a sugar rush. In the hands of a trained soldier, reloading the Mosin Nagant is a blur of motion. Clip in, rounds down, bolt forward, and you're back in the fight. It's a testament to the rifle's practical design, built for the realities of the battlefield. The Mosin Nagant fired a hefty 7.62 by 54mm rimmed cartridge, a round known for its power and range. This cartridge was no lightweight. It packed a serious punch, capable of reaching out and touching targets at impressive distances. This wasn't a pea shooter, this was a rifle that meant business. When you pulled the trigger, you felt the authority of that round, and so did whatever was downrange. The recoil was stout but manageable, and the sound of a Mosin Nagant firing is something you don't soon forget. It could drop a target at over 500 yards with surprising accuracy, especially in the hands of a skilled marksman. In fact, the Mosin Nagant earned a legendary reputation among snipers, particularly during World War II, where it was the tool of choice for some of history's most famous sharpshooters. But what truly set the Mosin Nagant apart was its ruggedness. This was a rifle designed to keep working no matter what the world threw at it. Mud, snow, rain, or the freezing cold of a Russian winter. It was built like a T-34 tank, simple, tough, and able to withstand incredible abuse. Soldiers could drop it, drag it, or use it as a makeshift club, and it would still fire when needed. The Mosin Nagant was a tool, not a showpiece, and it was made to survive the harshest conditions imaginable. Mud, dust, freezing temperatures. This rifle laughed in the face of adversity. Stories abound of Mosins being dug out of the snow, wiped off, and put straight back into action. Its reliability became the stuff of legend, and it earned the trust of soldiers who depended on it for their very lives. It was the automotive equivalent of a Hilux pickup truck, indestructible and always up for a challenge. Whether you were crossing frozen tundra or slogging through muddy trenches, the Mosin Nagant was right there with you, ready to go the distance. In a world full of delicate, high-maintenance firearms, the Mosin Nagant stands out as a monument to simplicity, strength, and sheer stubborn reliability.